torture that breaks the laws of physics, talking robot heads, and what every girl says after I have intimate relations with them.
I think you should leave now.
This week's episode of Foundation gives us new theories on what Demerzel has planned, the overthrow of Empire, and where Brother Day is headed after descending into the show's very own Sarlacc pit. I'm also going to be doing a traditional breakdown in this video and saving all trailer spoilers until the end of the video, but I'll warn you when that comes up. So let me know in the comments if you like this new style, or should I say old. Last but not least, make sure to like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me, the channel, and the Think Story clones I have working on videos in the background. The long-awaited confrontation between the Mule and Hari Seldon has finally come, and with it a slew of new questions. Last episode we learned of the Mule's origins, but since this was being told by the Mule himself, Hari is right to say of it,
I wonder how much of it is true.
Like the Mule, Hari grew up with an abusive father. We actually saw this in Season 2, when young Hari tore a page from a book to explore a math problem. While this competing pity party doesn't last long, the Mule gets down to business wanting to know the whereabouts of Gale Dornick. This is the woman who's haunted his dreams and the name he pulled from Han Pritchard's mind in episode 303. But how is Hari supposed to know where she is? Remember, this is the digital consciousness of Hari Seldon that was captured over 300 years ago, and that's as far as his memory goes back. The Mule is no fool, surmising that Gale has gone to practice mental warfare in an attempt to subvert his grip over the galaxy. And he wants to know where she is, what she's doing, and how many she leads. If Hari won't give up this info, he'll destroy New Terminus for good, but his attempts to read Hari's mind are in vain. That's because he doesn't have one, he's digital. His lack of knowledge about what's going on causes the Mule to laugh.
I would be so embarrassed calling it my plan when it's someone else's.
Yes, the Seldon plan was his 300 years ago, but it has morphed and changed. You could argue it's Gale's plan now, or if you want to go into crazy theory mode, that of the robot Calais, who has been secretly guiding Hari this entire time. But the absolute craziest thing that happens is Hari using this sort of telekinetic powers to lift the Mule into the air. It's absolutely wild to me that Hari could have killed the Mule here, but doesn't, which gives further credence to two different theories I've discussed in my previous videos. First is that the Mule is a necessary evil. He's needed so that Gale can consolidate power and lead the galaxy through the dark times. Because if it weren't for the Mule, the Empire wouldn't be at its weakest in millennia. The second theory is that the Mule isn't the real one pulling the strings, that he's secretly being puppeteered by Magnifico. Perhaps digital Hari can sense this, but doesn't exactly know who the one controlling the Mule is. If he keeps the Mule alive and he can find that secret out, it might help take down Magnifico for good, because if Hari were to kill the Mule here and he ended up being just a puppet, Magnifico would just pick someone new to control and nothing would really change. Back on Trantor, Brother Day undergoes a trial by faith in the Sacratorium. This is a trial undertaken by Sunmaster 18, the leader of the religious group known as the Inheritance, who believes one day robots will save humanity. We'll also see just how important this robot skull is, referred to as the Brazen Head, and in a few moments how it will link with Demerzel and provide clues on how Brother Day will escape. Speaking of Demerzel, it's time for her to come clean to Brother Dusk that Brother Dawn has been killed. In episode 6, Demerzel told Gale that her vital readings of the young Cleon flatlined. However, we'll see something must have gone wrong here because Dawn does survive. Dusk remembers Dawn as a man with great potential, calling him Cleon the Worthy. With Ambassador Quent by his side, whom he's developed a romantic relationship with, he questions what it means to be a Cleon. Everything he's been told about his life he's finding out isn't true. He was supposed to be interchangeable with his other brothers, but he's not. They're all individuals, and as Quent says, these individuals can affect and change each other. What I think this is all building toward is Dusk not going through with the Ascension, a ceremony that's supposed to take place in 49 hours, in which his body is evaporated so the next Cleon can take over. To make matters even more tenuous is the Empire in full revolt. A trifecta that represents over 1 trillion souls have come with an ultimatum. Either Empire gives up Trantor to the Mule, or they will do it for him. It's a very practical, albeit treasonous proposal. The Mule now has access to New Terminus's whisper ships, allowing them easy access to any planet in the galaxy. Plus, they've all come to the realization this guy can take any planet as he pleases. It's time to conciliate. The only real argument against this is posed by Ambassador Quent. There is no appeasing the Mule. This is a man who will keep coming no matter what. However, the others believe giving over Trantor will essentially placate him, since it will take lifetimes to loot the place. So while Empire will be weakened, at least it will survive. It's a small evil for the greater good. As Zephyr Varellis says,
"Moral philosophy is filled with choices exactly like this, to benefit the many."
This utilitarian argument is one found all throughout Foundation. In episode 305, Gale says to Brother Dawn that the destruction of Calgon was a necessary evil in order to prevent the slaughter of billions in the future. Of course, Dusk is furious at this decision. It's treason, but in this scene you really get to see how little power he has left. Any of the previous Cleons would have these three executed, but Dusk has to literally be held back by his own guards. This powerlessness and loss of control are more reasons why I think Dusk is going to try and escape his ascension. Back at Mycogen, the trial begins. Not only will Day be tried, but Song as well. Sunmaster claims it was her who got them in this mess in the first place, thus she must be judged. To make matters worse, this trial might result in Day's execution, and things get off to a rocky start when the eyes of the Brazen Head start to glow. The founding of the Inheritance is told by Oceanglass through narration and dance. She speaks of a surviving robot named Daniil, who will become their savior. Last episode, we learned that Daniil was one of 3 names Demerzel used to go by. Brother Day claims that Daniil is real, much to the shock of the audience. The question is, will they believe him? Day realizes that he and the other Cleons have completely mistreated Demerzel, treating her as an object to be used as they wanted. At the same time, the Brazen Head hums a lullaby, one which Day recognizes as the same lullaby sung to him by Demerzel as a child. This actual lullaby can be heard all the way back in Season 1, Episode 3. Demerzel would sing this to the baby fetuses floating in the cloning tanks. By completing the song, Day activates the Brazen Head and it initiates communication with any other robots. In episode 304, Demerzel spoke of the clasp, a way in which all robots communicated with each other almost like a hive mind. We never see if Demerzel receives this communication, but I think it's a safe bet that's how she'll rescue Brother Day. After all, Dusk is 49 hours away from being killed, there isn't enough time to decant a new Cleon, and she believes Dawn to be dead. A rescued Brother Day is the next best thing to keep the genetic dynasty going, which is, after all, her prime objective. On Ignis, Gale returns struggling with what to do next. If Han has been captured, the Mule will undoubtedly find out about the Second Foundation, and everything they've worked for and planned will be in vain. She orders Preem Palver to begin the evacuation. They're to move to a location even Han wouldn't think of, and if Preem doesn't hear from Gale in the next 48 hours, she orders them to keep moving and never stop. She hands over the Prime Radiant for safekeeping, knowing her rescue mission to New Terminus just might be her last. With the genetic dynasty on the brink of being overthrown, Dusk explains that there isn't enough time to decant a new Cleon. They could be killed at any moment. Dusk has no choice but to reveal the secret he's been keeping from her for decades, the construction of the Navacula. I felt that Demerzel genuinely didn't know about this, which is kind of crazy because Dusk started this project when he was 20 years old, and only now has it come to completion. Originally meant as a gift for Brother Dawn, this deterrent just might be what's needed to crush their enemies. Dusk also learns of Dawn's treachery, how he went behind Empire's back to work with Gale, a decision which led to the destruction of Calgon. I wonder if he'll reconsider calling Dawn Cleon the Worthy. Speaking of Brother Dawn, he's alive and unwell, having survived being jettisoned out into space. The suit he was in harvested part of his legs to keep him alive, so don't expect him to be playing hopscotch anytime soon. Dawn was picked up by the Mule, and I gotta say this is very suspicious. You're telling me, in the vastness of space, he happens to get picked up by the Mule's men, no less? Something fishy is going on. Alongside him is Beta, who we saw last episode picked up by the Mule's men. I have to think that the main reason the Mule wants Beta is her knowledge on Magnifico's whereabouts. We don't really know where he is after he escaped the vault alongside Ebling in episode 6. Now, if you happen to believe that the Mule is controlled by Magnifico, he would likely want to keep Beta for his own. Beta has shown tremendous compassion for Magnifico over the last few episodes, and if you believe this theory, it ties into his obsession with being loved.
You love me. You will come to love me. You will all come to love me.
You love me.
I'm in a glass case of emotion!
Back at the palace gardens, Demerzel takes a poisonous golden apple. Its golden color a byproduct of robot blood mixing with the tree's genetic makeup. With her is Zephyr Virellus, who moments earlier expressed the luminous position that Empire must give up Trantor. Demerzel is also a luminist, one of the largest and oldest religions in the galaxy, and Virellus tells her to leave Trantor and make a new home at the Salt Palace, the palace that serves as the Proxima's residence on the planet Maiden. But for those of you who remember Season 1, Demerzel can't set foot on Maiden again, not after what she did to Zephyr Halima. This was the woman set on becoming the next Proxima and posed a threat to the genetic dynasty, so under Day's orders, she poisoned her via skin-to-skin contact, even though it went against her luminist faith. Perhaps most ominous is Demerzel's confession of what she's going to do next, something that will be much worse than the murder of the Zephyr. With Brother Dusk having just introduced her to the Namakula, I think I know what she has planned. But if you want to know exactly what that is, stick around for my trailer sleuthing section. Demerzel hands over this luminist bracelet. You might remember this as the salt bracelet Day took a part of to remind him of her during his journey through the spiral. At face value, it may seem like a metaphor for her giving up her religion, but I wonder if there's something more here. Could this bracelet contain recordings of their conversations? Perhaps a message? You see, every time Virellus leaves the garden, she has to step through this machine, which hides any memory of their talks in the garden. That's why she's so surprised when she comes out the other end, wondering why she's been crying. It's entirely possible Demerzel told her what exactly this plan is, hence the tears. Sephany, who's kind of become one of the Mule's slaves, brings to him Han's clothing. Among them is Gale's necklace, which contains seer prayer stones. These are stones implanted into the cheeks of members of their church at birth, but Gale had them removed when she leaves the faith. In the seer faith, these stones mark you as being seen, so this is likely why she gave them to Han, a reminder of her, but whether or not these will have any deeper impact on the plot remains to be seen. The Mule has come to the conclusion that he no longer needs to search for Gale, rather that Gale will come for Han, and Han will lead him to Gale. Preem has assembled a sort of covert team to smuggle Gale back to New Terminus. She mentions missing her daughter Salvor. We haven't gotten anything new of this Salvor zygote she keeps on her ship, which I believe will one day result in a new version of Salvor reuniting with Gale. Preem tells Gale that there's a big distinction the Mentalics on Ignis have with the Mule. They're so used to walking in each other's thoughts, it's as if they're like one creature. The Mule does not have this ability, so maybe they can use that to their advantage. The Mule interrogates Brother Dawn, hoping he may know the whereabouts of Gale, but Gale was smart and never revealed the location of the second foundation to him. What I'm curious about is how the Mule will use Brother Dawn going forward. Will he be a bargaining chip? If Demerzel and Empire do not know he's been taken in by the Mule, could he be sent back as a sort of Manchurian candidate? Beta tells the Mule to back off after he squeezes Dawn's macerated leg. The Mule isn't one to take orders, yet in this instance he backs off. Is he merely trying to get on Beta's good side since he needs information from her, or is he being kind because he's secretly under Magnifico's influence and we know Magnifico likes her? Gale arrives on New Terminus. This would be her first time here, having spent the last 100 years building the second foundation on Ignis. If you stick around for my trailer sleuthing section, we have a better idea of what happens here. The episode ends with the culmination of Brother Day's trial. Sunmaster 18 accessed Song's memories and found out the truth, that their god Daniil lives and is the robot Demerzel. But even though Day was telling the truth and that Demerzel is the only one who can stop their upcoming demise, Sunmaster won't tell his people because, quote, it's not in his interest. He never expands upon what he means by that. It could be as simple as he just enjoys the power associated with his role as their leader, and maintaining the status quo is his best course of action to maintain that power. Regardless, Brother Day must face remediation, a death that involves being slowly eaten away by hungry little microorganisms. He's dropped into the Inheritance's very own Sarlacc pit, but if you want to see what he falls into, join me as we get into our trailer sleuthing section. I'll give you 5 seconds to click away, but please don't, I'm terribly lonely. This has got to be where Brother Day ends up, this black fungal type swamp where the microbes will eat away at him. The question then becomes, how does he get back to the Sacratorium? If Demerzel was alerted via the clasp, it's possible she comes to his aid, causing chaos among the inheritance. We will see Day back in the palace with Demerzel and her maintenance tools in the background. This shot shows Demerzel holding onto the Sunmaster's Brazen Head. I just can't tell if this is back at the palace or down on Mycogen, but it probably means Sunmaster isn't long for this world. Here's the Mule in what I think is Mayor Inber's office. From the various stills we'll examine, it looks as though Gale leads some sort of assault alongside Han, Ebling, and Magnifico to take back the planet. Now this is the shot I think points to Demerzel's confession, that thing she's about to do that will be way more tragic than killing the Zephyr. This is the destruction of the Galactic Council. Perhaps her programming demands she commandeers the Navacula to destroy the Council, as their members basically told them they'd be revolting. And this is the cloud ship of the Cloud Dominion. This clip pretty much confirms that the Navacula will be used to destroy all of the Empire's rebellious entities. Perhaps even the Maiden will be destroyed as well. This appears to be New Terminus's warden, Fallon Greer, getting pulled into the water by the Mule. We know the Mule loves his drowning, so maybe this is all a kind of mind trick. I think this is her too, where she tells Gale she's, quote, never known such love, so it's clear she's under the Mule's control. I've theorized that this shot here could be the Mule trying to manipulate Gale as she's holding on to Raisha's dagger, the same dagger that once held Hari Seldon's digital consciousness. Here we have Brother Dusk in the cloning chamber. There's a bunch of dust particles floating around which could either be human ash or the result of some kind of explosion. The tanks look destroyed in this similar shot. I'm just curious who did this. Here we have Gale flying through the air as her ship is about to crash. Knowing that the zygote of her dead daughter is on board, you can kind of see why she needs to save that ship. This shot looks like it could be Han and Gale making their way inside the vault. Perhaps if they're victorious against the Mule on New Terminus and drive him away, they get to visit Hari. Brother Day in the Ascension Chamber, it has the same color and shimmering light as that of the laser that turns a Cleon into ash. Who is he watching die? It could be Brother Dusk's Ascension, or even Demerzel, who kills herself after literally killing billions of lives. That is, if her programming would even let her. But now I turn it over to you. What do you think will happen next? And what did you think of this more traditional style breakdown? I want to hear your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, be sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember...
I think you should leave now.